Yeah.
Yeah.
Today we'll talk about liquidation strategy.
Yes.
Yeah. So usually the liquidation strategy is they're not discount. They are like an end of season discount is more at for the season or maybe for the end of the year sometimes for the core ranges. But liquidation strategy are to certain products which you cannot keep it in your store because it's like at least 3 seasons or more old, and that might affect your brand.
Yeah.
Even if you put it on discount, it's even for a discount sale, it would still affect your brand. And in
Mhm.
that case, then we'll have to work on a liquidation strategy. Yeah. Also, this is one is the old season. Another is like, say, for example, if you're a brand and if you have certain merchandise like a factory surplus, there are certain merchandise which is defective. That also cannot go to the store even for a end of the season sale
Yeah.
because it will affect your brand, your brand image, right? So
Mhm.
sometimes even certain defective pieces or certain pieces which was termed as defective in your factory but not defective. Let's say for example, when I was consulting for the face pad, the cotton pad brand, so there were times where the machine would say that it's defective,
Yeah.
but the product was not defective. But then it was like a
Oh,
completely integrated
okay.
factory
Yeah.
that it went as a rejects and it had to be sorted and they need to have a liquidation plan for that because they were not defective, but then the machine would even like because
Term
the
it
standard
as.
was so high that even if there is a certain if the machine thinks that there is certain issue or if it looks different, then it uh,
Becomes
may reject it as defects. So
okay.
something like that also can needs to have a liquidation strategy because it's now termed as a defective and it's not right for the brand to sell it
Yeah.
even on a discounted sale. And
Yeah.
technically it's not defective,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, correct. I think that what you're saying is right. So at the end of every season, you put your fragmented stocks, your ends of range onto discount, and that becomes your uh, end of season sale. That's what your EOSS or mid season sale. Those are seasonal stock, and maybe if you're getting rid of a core line, that pretty much becomes your sale stock. But retailers might have on the system, and I've seen this, like they would list, so once your price comes to a discount, it does not usually roll back to a full price. It stays at a discounted price, but you might have accumulated those discounted inventory from previous seasons too. So all of that usually sits under sale stock. So you have full price merchandise where and you have this sale merchandise, and then over a period of time it accumulates, it takes up space in your warehouse. Or so at a store level you can do certain strategies like we have discussed. You can put a rail at the end of the store even when your end of season sale ends. It can keep selling. In fact, you can start selling it as and when a product line becomes fragmented, because you
Right.
have no more stock coming and you know that we this is the only available sizes now. So you
Right.
just put it on a 30% and you let it liquidate. That's one. If you feel it's a seasonal style but it needs maybe a little more shelf life, you might flow the stock into the next season, give it more another couple of months, another month or a couple of months, like I said. That's another way of doing it. um, but if you look at e-com businesses now, brick and mortar usually, like there would be an outlet store, but even on e-com websites now, like there's TK Maxx here. TK Maxx always has a page for clearance stock constantly, so everything gets listed over there once it's a season old. And then all the other retailers do have like a sale tab, so you can always find discounted merchandise. Some have an outlet, which I think it just takes you to another website altogether. So I think those are the options that you could do at a retail front, how to liquidate it. But even then, you might be left with, like 5% inventory in a season, 2% in another. And then over a period of a couple of years, 3 years, it becomes a lot of dead stock that you need to get rid of. And spending, so it takes up rent, it takes up space, it takes up manpower. Another thing is that if you have a few stores, you could consolidate some of the ranges in one particular store. So at least the size set becomes complete. But here in the UK, like movement of stock between stores used to be very expensive. So after a point, we stopped doing it.
Right.
Um, we realized that just letting it stay where it is and then maybe doing something else is cheaper. Sending it to outlet is much more cheaper. So I think at the retail front, those are the strategies that everybody would adopt
Mm.
at some point. But the liquidation strategy becomes a part of the strategy regarding all the leftover sales stock,
Right.
which is old, and what do you do with it?
Mm. So the ideal way is, and if you don't want, I mean, the ideal way is to find a new channel, and then push it in the new channel, because the whatever the your existing website or the retail store, you don't want to dilute the brand in your existing store or
Yeah.
the website. So, like you said, that one can have another website where they can always sell all the old stock, where they, I mean, like a year or three seasons old stock, or they can find out another channel. Like you can. So for example, Wellspun, when they started Spaces,
Yeah.
they had bought so much thinking that the Spaces stores can do well, but then they did not. But then I think they had opened 20 odd stores, which they quickly realized that around 10 plus stores were not doing well, and only 3 or 4 stores did well. So what they
Okay.
quickly did is that they converted they kept 6 of their stores as Spaces, and then the rest of the stores they rebranded it as Wellspun Mart, and that's how the whole chain of stores, Wellspun Home. Then they changed it to Wellspun Home. So
Okay.
the whole chain of Wellspun Home happened because it was rebranded. These are extreme cases, but then still, you can actually have like a sub brand and name it differently, and then sell the brand. Maybe cut the tag off and sell the same merchandise at a discounted rate. That's one thing that you can do. You can have just one shop for the entire country and consolidate all the stock and sell it in that one store. That can be done. The other thing is also thinking out of the box and finding different channels. Say,
Yeah.
for example, the case that for the cotton pad that I was talking about, they
Yeah.
found a vendor and they would sell it to this vendor, and then this guy would unpack the whole thing, find out if there is any defective, again, quality checks, and then repacks it into a different brand, and then he would sell it to a different brand.
Okay.
And yeah, so that made sense for them. In fact, they could have unpacked themselves and then had another brand in their own name. That is something that they
Yeah.
could have done. It would have been much more
Yeah.
beneficial for them, but then they did not want to deal with it, because but some businesses, they just don't want to deal with it because it's extra work, and you have to put a team and invest and all of that. So they just sold it to this guy, and this guy used to sell it to other brands, and it was sold on full price, like a brand with another name.
Okay.
So this is one way that I've seen. The other way is that in India, people buy, people rent halls, which usually these
Mm-hmm.
halls are where they run sale for different brands. So you hire those halls on certain dates, you pre-book, and then put all your old stock and just sell everything on a flat price or
Okay.
flat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Does that still happen? Because I remember, like, when we were in college, I think that was very common. We
Right.
would have those big boxes and cartons of good merchandise. None
Yeah.
of it was, I think, it didn't look like defected or rejected. They were
Yeah.
like decent stuff.
They were out of fashion. I think they were not like I also
Yeah.
knew. I think
I don't
when
even know if it was made for the Indian consumer in the first place.
maybe, yeah.
It's some Indian brands, yes, which were meant for local consumption. But lots of times I think there were export surpluses. In fact, I remember Hyderabad had a few export surpluses retail stores.
Right, yes. In Chennai also it's there.
Yeah. So they would not have the tag of the brand,
Brand, but they would
but
sell.
yeah, they would sell it, and they were actually material wise, they were high quality product.
Yes. So another thing is that I've seen what Arvind also does. I think the other brand Madura also does this. I think they would go and find a hall or a space in all these corporate complexes, and they
Okay.
would run a sale over there too. Like I remember when we were studying at that, there was this opposite building, right? The Windows World of
Yeah,
Windows.
Windows of the World. Yes,
So in
yes.
there, there's always a hall where they would
Yeah, yeah.
run
I remember
surplus.
that one.
Yeah,
Yes.
you remember, right? So they Arvind and both Mathura, both of them find places where they run sales in corporate
Yeah,
buildings.
because I think it had the right catchment, like the people working there.
Yeah,
So they had an audience, a customer base for that kind of product.
right.
It was targeted, like the right target mark consumer was there. Yeah.
And those in those places, I've seen Arvind. I think it was an Arvind or Madura, some brand. The some styles were very high on fashion, which might have bombed in the store, which could not sell. And then it was very like shimmer with a lot of shimmer, with a lot of pockets and jumpsuits. They were at that time. This was like I found that very high on fashion, and they would have realized that it will never sell in their store. Like this
Yeah.
is it bombed, and this is not. This is absolutely a wrong buying decision for Indian customer. And then it directly goes to these channels for liquidation because you cannot even discount it, right? So I mean, they would have realized that it's not even worth discounting it. Just send it to another channel and just sell it at a flat rate.
Yeah.
Mm,
Yeah. Correct. I think
because I
it's yeah.
from
Something
them.
similar also happens here also, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so that's finding a different channel. That yeah, these are all out of the box. You have to think through, and you have these liquidations. So one thing that when I was working for Christian Fabra, this is something that we did, that we sold. We were trying to take a place and sell, but we had to discount it steep. But then we thought that if we sell it in a two-tier city like Salem, which is a two-tier city in Tamil Nadu, somewhere and center Tamil Nadu. We thought that it will make sense, and it was close to it. The proximity to Chennai was also there, but then it was a two-tier city. So, and then we also found that there were a lot of college students in that city, both
Mm-hmm.
Coimbatore and Tamil Nadu, Coimbatore and Salem, sorry. That these they were target customer, but then they did not have that they did not have that budget to buy full price. But then when we sold it, all these liquidated products, which were like almost 2 years old merchandise, we could sell it at a good price because for them it was quite high on fashion because it was trickling down. And then in Coimbatore and Salem, people were
Yeah.
picking up the styles only then. So sometimes you just have to go to maybe another city or another country where the
Yeah.
fashion is just picking up there, and it makes a lot of sense. So you don't discount it too much. Also, you have you, and it's a
Yeah.
fair price for the person who's purchasing too.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes
Hmm.
I think yeah, but sometimes like it's fashion, and by just sending it to another place, it might like be able to find some customers. And I think in some of the brands that I work for, sometimes you do an update on a core line, a core product line.
Hmm.
You make a change. So anything that you were sitting on, all of that becomes obsolete. So all the inventory. So you try to liquidate it from your shop as much as you can. But
Hmm.
then the core, which is actually like a very basic style, is what becomes usually core in a retail brand. So then, I mean, it's not the sales is not dependent on seasonality. The only thing is that you need to like just find the right customer again. So it can sell, but maybe not from that retail store anymore. So I think that all of that gets sold to jobbers here. They come and they bulk buy, and then they pay like £5,000 or £10,000, depending on like what how big inventory you have. Um, but yeah, that's another concept. I'm not sure what they do with it. They usually take it to another smaller town, maybe sell it there, maybe it's sent off to another
Maybe
nation.
another country.
Yeah, yeah, another country. And then brands like TK Maxx, they actually sell discounted products of other brands. Some could be made for factory outlet MFO products. So like Nike might do just a cheaper version of something and sell it through TK Maxx, but it's just meant for an outlet store.
Ah.
But TK Maxx does end up selling a lot of branded products at discount. So invariably, you will see different kinds of brands. So that's a concept which is meant for discounted product.
Yeah.
TK
So
Maxx here in the UK
completely
is
understand.
TJ Maxx in the US, which
Mm-hmm.
is I think even like a bigger format. They're big stores here, but I think in the US they're huge. I'm trying to think like, are there any such concepts in India
There
where
was
you sell? I think
another.
Pantaloons used to have its own outlet store.
Yeah, in India they used to have their own outlet stores outside the
So
cities, but now,
every retailer with private label would have like one outlet store. But
yeah,
this TK Maxx is not meant for any particular brand. It just holds any brand,
it's a multi-brand outlet.
multi-brand outlet, but selling at a discount.
Yeah, there was a multi-brand factory outlet format which Pantaloons had, Snigdha. I'm forgetting the name.
Yeah, Pantaloons
There
had it.
was,
Yeah, I remember that.
yeah, there was.
They would usually be located a little far away, further from the
Yes,
city, not in the
yes,
main
but it
local
was a multi-brand
markets.
outlet, and they would
Yeah,
have all
outskirts of the
the.
city.
So it was a different channel, and they thought that it can make sense. But I think it did not do well. I think
Okay.
because I don't remember the name even. So maybe they had shut it down. But they did have we I remember like Central was like a multi-brand for all the branded things. There was another format which was very similar to Central, which was a big format, and
The
all the
Central had all full price
all full price.
stores.
Yes,
Like,
Central
yeah,
had all.
everything was new in season, like seasonal stuff. If you wanted to see, you would go to Central and then find all of that. But TK Maxx carries like it will carry even luxury brands, but everything is at a discount.
Yeah, so there
Like
was a
all
format.
premium brands, luxury brands, like good brands it carries, but they're all at discounted rates. So
That's a
that's
format.
another one. And then I remember, yeah, so like other retailers, right before the sale, they would do like a employee sale. Sometimes,
Yeah,
early
you can
hours
do
in the
employee
morning.
sale also. Yes,
Yeah. Yeah. You
exactly.
would have
Yes.
those employee sales, and employees were pretty happy to buy that product. And I think they would get like steeper discounts as employees in the company. Um,
I just searched it. It's called Brand Factory. You remember
Brand
Brand Factory?
Factory, yes, yes. I remember the one in Hyderabad. I think there was
Yeah,
one
it's
in
there in
Yeah.
Bangalore also. I was there. I don't know whether it's there
Okay.
now. It's
But you
called
said
Brand.
Pantaloon has shut down now.
No,
Is
Pantaloon is
it
there. It is there. Pantaloon.com
okay?
is there.
Still there?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's there.
Oh,
.com
still
is there.
operational. Okay.
Yeah, still operational. Maybe the stores are shut down. I don't know. Aditya Birla has bought it right now.
Okay. Okay. I
Aditya
think yeah,
Birla is.
because
It's no more.
it had a presence in all the tier two cities, smaller places, smaller towns and cities. I think there were Pantaloon stores. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is also a part of it. And yeah, India had like I said, they had those export surplus stores. Even
Hmm.
Gurgaon, I think near the airport, long ago had factory outlets. They were called
Yeah.
factory
Because it was
outlets.
the outskirts at that time, so
Yeah, so you would get like all big brands like there were Benetton and all the denim brands, sports brands. So I'm not sure if the merchandise was coming directly from factories or the brands would sell it from the retail stores, warehouses, but they were called factory outlets. Yeah. But over here, like I have come across concepts called as made for factory outlet, which means that all these big brands will do a cheaper version of their brand to sell at these outlets.
Yeah, yeah, that is also one of the ways to just push their old fashioned, because when you change the brand name, then like this is I think almost the same as the Spaces and the Images home, right? Like you change the name and then you can
Yeah.
sell it to, and also
No, no, I'm not saying that they would not change the existing merchandise. They were literally
they would make
producing
it.
more. Yeah.
Well, yeah,
So
they
Nike
produce.
Nike would do like a, not Nike, but a brand, let's say a famous brand would do a cheaper version. Like a Puma would do a t-shirt, a very basic looking t-shirt. DKNY could do a very basic t-shirt, and but it was not meant for their full price stores, but only for these outlet
Uh,
stores. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, yeah. So that can also happen. So in when I was with Arvind, Arvind was all their old stock, like 2 years old stock. They were trying to sell it in Amazon,
Mm-hmm.
because Amazon also people don't get to know what is assorted, what's not assorted. It can just people can. So they were trying to keep it at a flat rate, shirts and trousers, formals. I think I remember they were doing formals. I don't know whether they're doing anything else more, but they were doing formals at that time. They were selling in Amazon. So Amazon also. A lot of brands use Amazon as a additional channel for selling like 2 year old because Amazon is there in every part of India. So it might make sense for somebody, and it might be fashionable for somebody, and then it might, so because of the coverage Amazon has in 2 tier, three tier cities, so
Mm-hmm.
it makes sense that you can have like a 2 year old style in Amazon. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, correct. Yes. That is also like a good
Yeah.
place to
So
sell your products.
the brand has to another thing, like, yeah, Wellspun, another thing that what Wellspun did is that they also had like a key accounts to hotels, right? So they
Okay.
pretty much the at the beginning what they were, the whole key accounts to the hotels, and all the spas and all of that, the all the rejects were supplied, like they're good quality, but then they were rejects for their exports. And so they made a whole range out of that, and then they were supplying, because hotels, there are certain hotels which will want like I mean, Welspun was making pretty good like zero twist towels and all that. So they wanted the
Yeah.
zero twist towels, but they did not wanted it at the full price cost. So there will be a lot of
Mm-hmm.
budget hotels which wanted it, which want to position it uh, like really nice for their customers, but they do not wanted to pay for it. So to
Yeah.
all those hotels, I think Welspun was selling their old or the reject merchandise, which are not reject for. I mean, which could be a reject for a retail. Like if you sell full price in a retail store, it might hurt the brand and it might hurt the experience for the customer. But for a hotel, they found that it was okay.
Okay. Yeah.
For for a budgeted hotel, they found it was okay.
Yeah. And then sometimes I think now the people who are responsible for the liquidation strategy could be different at different stages. So when your inventory is at the store, it would be the merchandising team, the store team that's taking a call. Once it's sent back to the warehouse, sometimes I think it would sit under supply chain or the warehouse team, because they knew where exactly it was in the bin. And sometimes you would see, and that's what happens, like the inventory could reflect on a system, but maybe it doesn't exist. So, all the discrepancy starts showing up on sale. So, I think sometimes it would, that responsibility after a point, the first few stages, would sit with supply chain or the warehouse team, where they would keep a check on old inventory. How many days old is this inventory? So, I think this is also again like bigger retailers, and sometimes you could not see, maybe that there were like some um, damages that happen at the warehouse end, not in the store end. So yeah, I think depends where exactly your inventory is. And I remember that with Marks and Spencer once, there was a store, I can't remember which city it was, and there was a fire in the mall, and everything had the smell of, I think everything had to be written off. The
Right.
entire store merchandise, though it did not get burnt, but it there was so
It
much smoke in the entire mall that
smoke.
the
Yeah.
clothes had that smoke. So it looked perfect because clothes are in a plastic bag, and not a plastic bag like the clothes that were hanging on the shop floor. Of course, they are open, but the rest are anything in the storage units. They were in good condition. So I think the whole lot was sent to the office in Delhi, and then we had a sample sale for
Mm.
the employees.
Employees, right? Yeah, so
Yeah,
that's because it was one store, it was they would have thought that it's enough. You can do a sample sale, but then if yeah,
yeah,
so that's the thing that these are like for the liquidation strategy. There's no fixed this way or that way. It depends how much you think out of the box and you try to understand whether it's worth the stretch, and then the
yeah,
businesses have to make that decision and execute it.
yeah, yeah. I think yes, that's it. Nothing else that you can do. But I think even then, fashion retail gets is infamous for dumping lots of unsold merchandise into the
Yeah,
ground.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
That's
think
also
that
there.
I think,
But
but people are like paying attention to sustainability, like more sustainable practices and how it's made, the entire product life cycle. I think people are more aware of it now, more conscious of it, of their choices. But yes, so that's why you need to have a liquidation strategy in place so that you don't end up with too much inventory that in the end gets dumped into the ground.
it's true.
Because I think I feel that they continue to do this practice like premium brands who do not want to sell off their seasonal merchandise. I think it's cut, it's destroyed, and it's sent away.
Yeah, that also happens.
That also
Because
happens, right?
sometimes, selling, finding a channel and selling it at finding a channel, doing all of that, if you kind of find I mean, if you kind of evaluate the cost that's involved to do that activity, it'll be more than even liquidating the merchandise. So when brands decide that they have that even happens for vegetables in India, Snigdha. Like I've seen
Yeah.
trucks and trucks of tomatoes because it cannot be stored and there is no the price of the tomatoes are going to become almost zero the next day, so they don't want to bring back the truck back to the village, so they would just dump the entire load of fresh tomatoes which is going to become bad the next day, but they could not sell it on the side
Yeah.
of the road, they will come back. So it's that same attitude that you
Yeah.
feel that taking the truck load back also doesn't make sense, so you just throw them away, even though they are in good
Yeah.
or even though they are in useful and usable condition.
I think that is also, yes, that is like maybe looking at it from just a point of view of practicality. But I feel certain brands, they want to justify the customer buying full price, and hence they do not discount. They do not want to know as a discounted retailer or a
Yeah,
premium
it
brand here. Or
brand image.
certain styles, they will not, they want to just justify the customer. They want to encourage the customer to buy full price. At one, if you don't buy it full price, it doesn't even go on sale. You've just missed out on that opportunity. So I think just to create that, I think lots of brands don't offer it on sale, or they're happy destroying their products
Yeah, could
in the
happen.
end. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, I think it's good to have a view of what you would do in case you end up with lots of inventory. You need to have like thought of those channels, and like I said, there are like multiple options available to you. And if you work for a retailer that has an international presence, sometimes it works. Like we said, that you can find buyers in another market, in another country. Yeah.
Yeah, those are the.
So I think that that's about it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we've covered
Yeah.
of it. Yeah, we'll see on another topic on another day.
All right.
Yeah.
care.